Howdy, and welcome to Book Here, Give Here. We're Travel That Gives. I'm Lulu Lima, your chief travel guru. I hope this episode of Dream Now, Travel Later inspires you to travel, and I invite you to give us the opportunity to help plan your next memorable trip. So grab your popcorn and enjoy.
One. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Oh my gosh, so excited today because I've got Graham from Sweet Home, Alabama. Yes, we are
Ooh.
talking about a hidden gem in our own backyard here in the US. Totally off the beaten path, things that we never really realized, where some things are brand new and or I should say brand new to the state, and then we took them to other states and then they claimed it. So here's a lot of history, a lot of soul science classes, all that stuff. We're really going to be kind of learning, and we need to go visit. So with that, I'm going to give the floor over to Graham so that he can kind of take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be on your show. And anytime we get a chance to talk about all the great things about Alabama, we're obviously going to take that. So let's get started. Alabama, for those that don't know, we are in the heart of the Deep South, as you can see here, neighboring to Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. The easiest ways for travelers to fly, or if you're going to fly into Atlanta, Nashville, Memphis, New Orleans. Those are the gateway cities. That makes it the easiest to get here. Each of those cities are within 2 hours driving distance. And of course, being in the heart of the South, I mean, if you're, it's hard to, it's hard not to be able to get into Alabama without being somewhere in the proximity. If you're going to Florida or New Orleans or Atlanta, chances are you're going to drive through Alabama. And, I'm here to tell you about all the cool things that you're going to see and do while driving through, and hopefully staying a couple nights in our great state.
And that's super awesome. So one of the things that we're really going to showcase here is your amazing beaches, because that in itself, I mean, I was so surprised at how amazing they are. So let's play a video.
Yeah.
The first thing you notice is the sky, that true blue fading to light blue. There's the heat of the sun kissing your skin, and you hear the sounds of the waves crashing into the beach with sand so fine it feels and looks like sugar. This is Alabama, and when you're here, you can take it all in.
And you know what's so great about your beaches? No passport needed.
You're absolutely right. Our beaches, so a lot of people don't realize that Alabama does have a coastline. We have 32 miles of beautiful sugar white sand beaches, and one of the things you'll notice about when coming to our beaches is that the beachfront is really big, and so especially in today's world of social distancing and that sort of thing, if you come to Alabama beaches, you're not going to be sitting on top of each other and that sort of thing. You can walk a few hundred yards down the beach and have your own spot of beachfront property right there to yourself. And I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that. Our beaches are probably one of our most sought after attractions. They account for a lot of our visitors, and we're just, we're very blessed to have, such a beautiful coastline, and it's wonderful. Love it.
And that's awesome. So with that, there's also a lot of outdoor stuff that we can do here as well. And so I wanted to kind of showcase a little bit of that. You guys have a great video, so we're going to be doing a lot of videos, guys, today. So just kind of bear with me. But I couldn't show off this destination without you guys seeing this amazing stuff.
Those first steps, when boot meets earth. The river water whispers its secrets to the loblolly pines. Branches sway in the breeze, framed by a bright blue sky. And there's that feeling that you've arrived. This is Alabama. And when you're here, you can take it all in.
And that is super awesome, right? So,
oh yeah. So that video you were just looking at, that is up in the northeast corner of Alabama, known as Little River Canyon. One of the most unique things about our state is that Alabama is actually one of the most geographically diverse states in the continental United States. I learned this from a gentleman. I went to the Canada Outdoor Show. We are second only to Alaska as far as navigable waterways, which is truly unique. And from the slide you're seeing here, you can actually, if you're really into adventure, you can hike from Alabama all the way up into upstate New York, from the Pinhoti Trail, which starts at Alabama's highest point here at Cheaha State Park and connects to the Appalachian Trail, which, as everyone knows, goes all the way up through the Appalachians into New York. So
what a great history lesson and geographical lesson, right?
Yeah. So
oh my God.
Starting in the northeast, you've got the Appalachian Mountains coming down, and then as you make your way towards the coast, you've got the beaches. So everything from beautiful scenic mountain ranges all the way to a beautiful coastline, and everything in between you can find in the state of Alabama.
That's so awesome. And these pictures don't even do it justice. I mean, this is just a taste of what you can actually experience in the state. So definitely not what we are prone to thinking about Alabama. And so there's so much beauty. And
continuing on with our outdoors and our geographical diversity and that sort of thing, you've got a great clip here too of the incredible cave systems throughout the state of Alabama as well.
And so for you guys who are homeschooling, this is a great science class. Just a heads up, because I mean, you can literally get this amazing science feature right here. So
Absolutely.
I am going to go ahead and play this video, and you guys are going to be in awe, just like I was. Look at this.
You hear the trickling of the water as it continues to carve and shape the stone. Frozen in folds and ripples. Hanging in sheets. What took eons to create while hidden in darkness, now brightly illuminated, requiring but a single moment to enjoy. This is Alabama, and when you're here, you can take it all in.
And I love that. I love that everything is focused on, not only the beauty, the untouched beauty, because really that's what it is.
You're absolutely right. And I need to mention too that the 2020, now granted, a lot of people have kind of, discarded 2020, is the Alabama Year of Natural Wonders. And again, touching on, our geographically diverse state, as well as social distancing. I mean, there's no better way to get outdoors and enjoy and get out of the house and just get outside and enjoy the beauty of nature. And Alabama has it in abundance. And I have to mention, so the slide that we're looking at right here, I'll be honest, I've been working for the tourism department for 4 years, and, I still learn new things every week. And this one, we learned thumbing through a brand new Visit USA travel guide, and they had this beautiful picture of, I think it's this one that you see on the left right here. And it was Fackler, Alabama. I promise I'm not cursing. It is actually one of the most photographed sinkholes in the country, and it drops down, I think it's something like either 20-30 stories straight down, and as you can see, makes for a great Instagram spot too for those social influencers and adventurers that are looking for that next great Instagrammable moment. again, Alabama in the outdoors, we've got it in spades.
And so I'm going to focus on what I started with, that homeschooling concept. For those of you guys who are stuck with that digital learning, this is in your backyard. You can literally have a life room classroom. This is where kids will write their essays that will last for them forever. So it truly is that learning piece that will continue. It makes an impact. It makes, it changes who people are. And all of these things we can actually curate and put in your itinerary. So even if you're going on a road trip, we can easily put this in. So keep that in mind as we go along. So the Five Rivers Delta Resource Center, what is that?
So the Five Rivers Delta Resource Center is it's in the Mobile-Tensawdelta, which, depending on where you look, on Wikipedia, is the Amazon of North America. It is home to several thousand different species of animals, from fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, you name it. Again, going back to our geographical diversity, we also have biological diversity, down in the South, especially around the Mobile Bay area. And again, talking about the education part of it.
Marine biology at its finest.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually really excited to announce, hopefully in the near future, there will be a program which, Lula will be able to, put in your itinerary that allows you for a couple of days to explore the Mobile-Tensawdelta and to continue your education in, biology, microbiology, marine biology, and that sort of thing. So again, very exciting, very cool place. If you just, want to go kayaking and, kayaks with some gators and that sort of thing, that's your place.
So, and for those of you guys who are also into, we talked about it earlier, but this adventure travel, right? So here's your whitewater rafting.
Yeah, so this one's actually unique. It's right on the border of Georgia and Alabama, which is on the east side of Alabama. And it's easy to get to from Interstate 85 coming south from Atlanta, or going north on 85 from Montgomery, Alabama. And it is urban whitewater rafting. So this was a man-made river in the middle of this little town. You've got Phoenix City on the Alabama side and Columbus, Georgia, and nice man-made river that splits them. And they do whitewater rafting. You go in the morning, you can do class 1 and 2s. And then if you go in the afternoon, that's for the real thrill seekers.
Wow.
They've got class 4 and 5. And it's really great because, it only lasts about 45 to 50 minutes. And you can just, it's like riding that roller coaster at the end of the day at the park. It's like, all right, I rode it. I'm going to jump back in line and do it again.
I'll be the one in the class 1 and 2. I'm the first one to say I'm not as that much of an adventurer, but I do love to try all of this stuff. So, but for you guys who love to have that 4 or 5, you want that extra piece, here's something that we can do. It can be it's a day excursion, or we can even set you up with like a quick overnight so you can enjoy the day. You can start off slow, as Graham's mentioned, and then go back and do it fast, right? So. Do that high intensity. We can certainly help you get all of that organized.
And then when you get done, hop on out and go get you an Alabama craft beer right there.
Exactly. So before we get into craft beers, though, we're still going to talk a little bit more about education. And so we've got the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. So we have different places where there's, you've got NASA, you've got Kennedy, and so there are lots of different moving pieces, but Alabama has a big chunk of it too.
Oh, absolutely. So this is kind of my bread and butter. So I was born and raised in Alabama. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, where the U.S. Space and Rocket Center is, and it is the world's largest space and artifact museum. It's actually one of the few places that you can actually see those people in the background right there. They're actually looking at an actual moon rock. And so, one of the few places where you can stand within a foot of something that, was once on the surface of the moon, which is, if you really try to wrap your mind around it, it's quite incredible. And then, of course, also I need to mention before we go on Space Camp, and especially because Lula can get you in to Space Camp, which again is a very immersive type education program for those that are interested in science, technology, mathematics, robotics, cybersecurity, programming. Space Camp.
Space Camp does a lot.
Yeah, so they have Space Camp, which is strictly tailored to really truly training to become an astronaut. There's actually several astronauts that have gone on to space and on to stay at the International Space Station. They also have Aviation Challenge, where you can learn to be a fighter jet pilot. They have robotics.
So this is not just for kids. This is for adults too.
Yeah, so the week-long camps are strictly for kids. They start at age 11 and 12 and go all the way up to 17 and 18 to high school seniors.
Yeah.
And they have different tiered programs. So you have beginner, intermediate, and then advanced. And because adults like myself love this, still nerd out with this kind of stuff, they do offer weekend programs for mom and dad and, son and daughters and that sort of thing. So it's really an interesting dynamic because, again, you're really truly going through a flight plan and you're trying to achieve whatever goal or mission that is set before you. And it's an interesting dynamic because you can put the kids in the, flight control because, where they're the supervisor and they're telling mom and dad what to do. And you see this back and forth. And it really makes for a truly unique experience.
Well, not only a unique experience, but it's the bonding, and also it's teaching the young adult, because really at that age they're starting to become young adults, right? So it's teaching them how to manage and how to function in real life. Like, so we're giving them an experience, and it's making them ready for the outside world.
And, touching more on what you just said, you can fail at Space Camp too. You're given, your goals and your mission, and you're given a list, and you're actually given a budget, and you have so much amount of money, but you can't afford everything on this list. So you have to strategically and, critically think, all right, what exactly am I going to need in order to accomplish my mission? And, sometimes you don't accomplish it. And I think that's really an important aspect to teach, kids at a young age, that you're not always going to be successful, but that doesn't mean, you just give up and quit. You got to, you keep trying, keep going. And it's, again, truly unique.
Failing doesn't necessarily mean to fail. It just means to try harder.
Yeah. Thomas Edison, what'd he say? I didn't fail 2,000 times. I tried 2,000 different ways to invent a light bulb. And it only took me one time to actually get it right.
Exactly. So all good stuff. So moving on from there, we're going to talk a little bit about music. Now, how amazing is this destination that all of the music that we're going to actually see and learn from here, a lot of it has actually, we attribute it to a different other states and in different areas. But the reality is that it also lives here in Alabama. So with that, I'm going to play a quick video, and then I'm going to let Graham go through his little story.
Oh, yeah.
When you're here, you see why greats like Aretha and the Stones wanted to play with the locals. To produce records with a sound like no other. The music, the beat, the swampers. That muscle shoals sound. Here, you feel the groove that shapes music history. This is Alabama. And when you're here, you can take it all in.
How awesome. And so let's talk a little bit about all this music, right?
Oh, man. I could talk a whole segment with you about the incredible music history. So it's best to start that Muscle Shoals is part of we call it the Shoals. It's 4 little tiny towns in the northwest corner of Alabama that really butt up next to each other, and you would never actually know you're going from one town to the other. But it is known, so if you ever I'm got to imagine a lot of your viewers have heard Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner.
Of
And one
course.
of the lines in the song is Muscle Shoals has got the Swampers. They've been known to pick a song or two. And the Swampers were actually the studio musicians at the studio that you just saw on that slide, the Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. They actually started at another studio that was made famous by a gentleman named Rick Hall. And not a lot of people know him, but he kind of rose to a little bit of more fame and more, recognizable entity that in 2013, Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre from Beats Electronics gave $1 million donation to the studio in Muscle Shoals to help renovate it. And they developed that documentary. And I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but it's called Muscle Shoals. And it talks about the whole history of Muscle Shoals and how, Aretha Franklin, after she signed with Jerry Wexler, she became the Queen of Soul after coming to Muscle Shoals and recording with the Swampers. You learn that Al Bell at Stax Records in Memphis, he got a phone call from Paul Simon saying, I want those same musicians that played on the Staple Singers. I'll take you there. And he's like, yeah, man, we can make that happen.
That's awesome.
There's ton. And then, of course, the creme de la creme, the Rolling Stones, came to Muscle Shoals for 3 days, recorded Wild Horses, Brown Sugar, and another one of their big hits from their Sticky Fingers album. But if you look at the album, you won't see any credit to the studio in Muscle Shoals, and that is because, believe it or not, the Stones didn't actually have a proper work permit to be recording music in the United States.
No.
So, Jerry Wexler, being the very smart man that he was like, man, I'll send them down to Muscle Shoals. Nobody will even know they're there. And so he did, and Brown Sugar became one of their biggest hits, and Wild Horses became one of their big ballads. And as they say, the rest is history.
Yes, that truly it is. So Alabama is also known for a lot of its bikes and bikes museums and everything else. And so prior to kind of getting ready, guys, I had learned a little history about where different bikes come to be, to be showcased, so to speak. And so we're going to actually play a video. It's going to take us a little bit because it's a clip of a very long version, but it is something that resonates with me because I have been in the industry for over 23 years, and every time I go to a trade show and I find some of these bikes and things like that, I showcase them off to all my friends and whatnot, because there are so many people who just love bikes. So with that, we're going to kind of do just a little bit here. So give us a second. But this conversation that you're going to hear between father and son is amazing. And this is really what you're going to be thinking all about, because you're going to want to have this conversation.
About 15 minutes away. So I'm just loading up my gear and we're getting out of here.
So I've had conversations with my dad my entire life about this bull taco that he rode whenever he raced motocross in high school, and he just loves this brand. It's a Spanish brand, and we've never found, we've hardly even found photos of them online. Well, I'm currently at the biggest motorcycle museum in the world in Birmingham. And look at what I just came across in the museum.
Wow. Oh man, I gotta go there.
Crazy. Bull taco percent.
So I would race my 125 with the shifter on the left, and then get on the 250 for saying and have to learn to shift on the right. Well, in a same day race.
All right, you can cut it right there, Lulu.
That's gnarly.
That's just super awesome, right? So
Yeah. So I
you
got
know,
to give a shout out to Roadrunner magazine. They sent these two guys to do video for us, which was really great. You can check it out on our YouTube page as well as Roadrunners. But talking about Barber Museum, and again touching on the education type kind of thing, if you're into some of that tech kind of background where you like working on machines, knowing how things work and the intricacies of that kind of thing, Barber Motorsports is definitely worth a visit. It is the Guinness Book, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, world's largest motorcycle museum. Anywhere between 1,200 bikes on display at any given time. They change out bikes, monthly. So when you go, you might not see the same bikes on display. It's 225,000 square feet of museum exhibit space. You can almost describe it as a living art museum, just because every bike that you see in the museum, save for a few pre-20th century bikes, can be gassed up, oiled up, and taken out on the track behind the museum. And that's also another thing, again, for some of you thrill seekers.
Yeah.
They also have the Porsche driving experience at Barber Motorsports. It's also where Porsche does a lot of their road testing for some of their off-road vehicles, and there's some of their all-terrain type vehicles.
Hello, guys. This is right in our backyard. This is in the USA.
And so truly, again, another unique experience that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah. So definitely, for you guys who want to just stay local and not and really explore our backyard, this is a great opportunity. And we're not even halfway through of all the things this amazing state has. So because now we're focused on obviously this amazing building that's in front of us that focuses on STEM education.
Yeah. So this would be more of the science end. And again, going back to what we were talking about in the Mobile-Tensawdelta and learning about biology and, biological diversity and that sort of thing. This is actually up in North Alabama, near the music studios, as well as the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. This is the Cook Museum of Natural Science. And again, talking about education, if you're into, if you like to know how bugs and insects and small critters and animals, how they what their daily lives and how that whole, I'm not really familiar with entomology and that sort of thing, but the museum, state of the art, beautiful, highly recommended, and again great for students and young kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. So moving on along, there's obviously a lot of history in the state as well. So, and behind you, that you've got this U.S. Civil Rights Trail. So you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. So the U.S. Civil Rights Trail was was debuted back in 2018. It was an effort by our department, along with the National Park Service, with the United States government, to catalog all of the different sites throughout the Southeast that played pivotal roles in the modern civil rights movement. And the bridge you see here, Edmund Pettus Bridge, obviously made famous. We hate to see that, John Lewis passed, but, he was there, walked across the bridge with President Barack Obama on the 50th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March, that really, truly put into the public view the atrocities that really were happening in the South during the Jim Crow era. And, instead of trying to hide it and, not talk about it, again, in today's climate, in our societal climate, we want to talk about it. We want to have those conversations that are difficult, to talk about. But we believe that we can learn from that history, and what better way than to preserve this history than to create a whole trail highlighting all of the great.
This trail's a living classroom. It really is.
Again, this is for students and young people and even adults. If you really truly want to learn about systemic racism and injustice and that sort of thing, come to where it really happened. I mean, you've got the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where Bloody Sunday, and where they marched from Selma to Montgomery, which led to the Voting Rights Act signed by President Johnson. Here, and the pull up behind me, you have Dexter Avenue King Memorial Baptist Church. This is the only church that Dr. Martin Luther King ever pastored at. He got here in 1954 as a 24-year-old young man, just preaching the good Lord, the word of the Bible. And some of the leaders in Montgomery at the time recognized his charisma and kind of tapped him to lead the civil rights movement and the Montgomery bus boycott, which everybody knows after Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat.
Yep.
Led to the year-long Montgomery bus boycott, which led to the Browder versus Gale decision that made interstate travel segregation illegal.
Yep.
You couldn't segregate on interstate buses anymore. This beautiful woman you see right here, this is Wanda Battle. She is the museum curator at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. Montgomery, the state capital of Alabama, home to Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, and it's just a short drive from Selma. If you're driving from New Orleans to Atlanta or somewhere through Montgomery, take an hour out of your time and stop and get a tour from Wanda Battle at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. You'll thank me later. She gives one-of-a-kind experiences, and she knows, she was there back in the day, so she knows all the history there is. And then the last piece right here, we have 16th Street Baptist Church located in Birmingham. This was the church, again, made famous through a not-so-great time where 4 little girls tragically lost their lives to a Ku Klux Klan bombing that happened there. But again, the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church you see behind me, the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and 16th Street Baptist Church, I'm going to knock on wood, are all tentative UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And so we're going to be trying to achieve that, sought after recognition in the upcoming years as we continue to promote U.S. Civil Rights Trail.
And this is awesome. So I'm blown away by the fact that you guys not only recognize all of the injustices and things like that, but that you are doing it in a way to say, look, it happened. We're not going to stop talking about it. We're just going to we're going to remember history so we don't repeat it.
Exactly.
And I think that's important, especially in today's climate. We have so many things that are being repeated because people don't want to learn about history, right? So kudos to you guys for really doing all of those moving pieces. So with that, we're, obviously this is a great opportunity to shift a little bit of a focus and talk about food, right?
Oh, absolutely. So on my watch, it's about 20 minutes till lunchtime. So yeah, what better way to start talking about food? So again, as a lot of people, realize the South is known for their incredible cuisine, their soul food and that sort of thing. But I want to highlight kind of the fine dining aspect, and I'll let Lula show this little video right here first.
Yeah, this is super awesome.
I guess that's
When you first come in, the smell hits you. That wood fire oven. You see why local produce is better. And you hear the sizzle of fish straight from the Gulf. It feels like a world-class restaurant. And it is. That irresistible taste will transcend all expectations. This is Alabama. And when you're here, you can take it all in.
And not only can we take it all in, but we've got another video to show you what you can drink.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to focus on that now. Come on, play for me, baby. Because now we're drinking.
There's a warmth you can smell in the freshest barley and hops. a beauty that's felt when ingredients intertwine, and feasts that are just as much for eyes as tongues. Here you'll discover that a true craftsman is only as good as his heart. This is Alabama, and when you're here, you can take it all in.
And yes, and so now you've eaten and you've had some nice things to drink.
Oh yes. I mean, what better way to pair a nice, nice meal with a good old pint of Alabama craft brew? So I'll start with the fine dining and the aspect of it and how this transition from just, fine dining cuisine, but a more of a farm to table, sourcing local ingredients, helping out your local farmer and that sort of thing, to the table and producing these incredible, almost works of art that you can eat. This right here is the crab claws from the award-winning Highlands Bar and Grill in Birmingham, Alabama. In the previous slide, it was executive chef Frank Stitt, who's the proprietor there, and he won the James Beard Award for Most Outstanding Restaurant in 2018. So we were very proud of that. And as a cherry on top, his pastry chef, Dolester Miles, also won Best Pastry Chef in America that year too. So almost a 1-2 punch of incredible fine dining with, of course, a little nightcap with some dessert and a beautiful cup of coffee right there. But again, Birmingham, I would say, is probably the main destination for fine dining and that sort of thing. Of course, all the other destinations we've mentioned during this presentation have their own unique skill sets, but Frank Stitt really kind of changed the game of food in Alabama when he traveled as a young man after college to France and worked in restaurants all through France and came back home to Alabama and took what he learned over in France in the Michelin star restaurants he worked in over there, added his own little Southern flavor to it, and came up with Highlands Bar and Grill, which not only is the meal truly a unique experience, but the whole restaurant atmosphere, from the moment you walk in, get your seat, to you're greeted by the waiter or waitress, the whole experience is truly one of a kind and is top notch. And again, with that, he brought in this skill set, and then he had his own sous chefs working for him, branch off and open their own restaurants in Birmingham. So you could almost just throw a dart at a board and hit some delectable fine dining establishment in Birmingham.
And that's awesome. And then from fine dining, we go to barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about the South in Alabama without mentioning some barbecue. And again, for those that, don't know, each state, going all the way from Kansas City to Texas to the Carolinas, they've got their own twist on barbecue. And what makes Alabama unique is smoked chicken. And so this gentleman right here, you see Pitmaster Chris Lilly from Big Bob Gibson's in Decatur, Alabama, which is just west of Huntsville, came up with the Alabama white sauce. And so it is this tangy, just it's not spicy, but just tangy, just
my mouth is watering.
It truly is mouth watering. And I mean, you take the whole, what he's doing right here, he's taking his tongs and he's dipping that whole bird in this bucket of white sauce right here. And it's a vinegar-based white sauce. And if you have smoked wings, smoked turkey, smoked chicken, any kind of white meat, I highly recommend getting some, Alabama white sauce to go with it.
That's awesome. So as we, kind of have made our way throughout the state, one of the things that I absolutely loved in regards to learning today was a great history lesson for me, is that Mardi Gras actually started in Alabama.
Boom. So yeah, everybody watching this presentation now, when you go with your friend group and, gets into the months of December and January and you're talking about, man, we should go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, you can tell them that you could actually go to where a Mardi Gras originated, and that is Mobile, Alabama. So Mobile, Alabama was actually the first settlement of the French Louisiana Territory. So when French settlers sailed to the New World, they sailed into the Gulf of Mexico in Mobile Bay and established their first colony in what is now Mobile in 1703, before moving their capital to present-day New Orleans in 1708. And so it's a month-long celebration. I mean, they have parades every day of the week and beads and moon pies and just music pouring out of the local bars. It's awesome.
Yeah. And so with that awesomeness, I'm going to show a video, of course, because it wouldn't be our wonderful program today. And you guys are just absolutely going to enjoy this.
The sky fills with flickering greens, golds, and purples as prizes streak toward eager hands, while ears capture the offerings from woodwinds and brass. And generously spiced gumbo contributes a heat rivaled only by the flames from dragonfire. This is Alabama, and when you're here, you can take it all in.
That was absolutely awesome. So with that, I am super excited to have gone through the entire state with you. This has been
top to bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Top to bottom, north to south, east to west. I absolutely love it. I feel like I need to go on a road trip myself. And I need you as my guide, right?
Anytime you're here, if you're in Montgomery, holler at me. I'd love to show you around.
Oh, I'd love that. So with that, thank you so much for showing off, giving us lots of history. So, this is a great lesson overall. My colleague Donna has a quick note that says great information. So she's really pleased with all of this. So thank you, Donna, for joining us. And anybody else who's got questions or, anything that you want to learn, again, this is in our backyard. Lots of different things that we didn't know about, hidden gems, and a lot of history. So it not only, like we mentioned earlier, it's a classroom, it's that living classroom. And so and y'all know how much I believe that travel is that living classroom. So let me know how I can help you plan this amazing trip so that you can take it all in.
Absolutely.
So with that, do you have anything else for us?
Let's see. So I'll just mention again, 2020 is the year of Alabama Natural Wonders, and we're going to continue on with that outdoor experience. In 2021, we're going to do the Alabama Year of Outdoor Adventures. And so playing again off our incredible geographically diverse state, we're going to start talking more and promoting more of our tour guides and our, operators that can take you on those whitewater rafting or kayaking or, any of those kind of soft adventures, take you spelunking down into our incredible cave system we have down here. And be on the lookout in 2021 for the year of outdoor adventures in Alabama. And
and away we go.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, Graham, for being here. Namaste. Until the next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
The rest of the week.